beautiful friends. This is Elle with Sacred Union Spiritual Wellness, a channel dedicated to enhancing and uplifting your spiritual well-being. Okay, so today is Wednesday, so I'm going to have Wednesdays as Wellness Wednesdays because we get so caught up in managing and navigating and articulating our 3D experience that sometimes we just kind of deprioritize self-care, or we put ourselves last, or we don't give ourselves time to nourish our spirit, our bodies, and our wellness. Now, wellness and spiritual wellness can be very linked. When you feel good, when you take time, when you manage your priorities in such a way that you put yourself at the top of the list, then you have more time for stillness, for connection. And also when your body feels good, you're a more clear channel because there isn't the resistance. So we're going to get started today, but I did want to talk about the aspect. And one of the reasons why I wanted to focus on Wellness Wednesday today was because the moon is squaring Pluto today. So this could feel uncomfortable. It can feel as though you're swimming in the emotional depths and you really don't want to. But there's something that needs to come to the surface that needs to be healed. So I'm going to be using a variety of decks to find out and ascertain what that is. And we're going to use the Ask Your Guides by Sonia Coquette and the Messages from Your Guides by James Van Praagh to get to that answer. But I'm also going to start us off with a thought for today because we want to have an uplifting focus. So as we start going through the day, we can use it as like a mantra. I also want to pull a sacred self-care card, get some specific advice on how we can support our physical and emotional well-being. I'm also going to pull a mindfulness card, give us something to really kind of use to get into the stillness. And then I'm going to pull some tarot from the Golden Art Nouveau tarot, just to give us a specific scenario for somebody who might need that message. All right, so let's get started. I feel like my necklace is wonky. Yeah, it is. Okay. There could be some emotional triggers today. You could have some power struggles in conversation. This could be a day where some old feelings about a situation are resurfacing, and it's there to be healed, or it's there for you to get a second glance. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to spread these out. This is from Create the Life You Love deck, and I'm thinking this card is doing it for me. Be your own reason to smile. So I want to put that, you need to be your own reason to smile. That is prioritizing self. So I put this little card as a reminder. Now I want to pull a self-care card. So this is from the Sacred Self-Care deck by Jill Pyle. Let's see what's coming through for what we need to do to take care of ourselves today. Because this is going to be kind of it's not emotionally upheaval. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's just going to be kind of like an irritating day for some of you, especially if you have particular Pluto placements that are going to make it difficult. Sound healing, perfect. So use your singing bowl or your chimes, or you can listen to different frequencies, solfeggio frequencies. Frequencies heal, and maybe and we might find out through the reading what specific frequency we need. This is another one, Build Strength. This is a 6 card. So definitely keep everything in balance, but there needs to be an equilibrium and a harmony. So those are some specific things we can do. I have my singing bowl here. We may do a little quick session after this. All right, let's get messages from our guides, and then I'm going to pull what needs to be healed, and then I'm going to pull some tarot. Your beliefs are right for you. Perfect. Okay, so what's going on today that might emotionally trigger us? First of all, it could be somebody challenging your belief system. If you're spiritual, you may have somebody who is like a fundamental Christian who feels that what you believe is controversial. Victory, divine helpers. Okay, this feels like almost the Six of Wands card with the Three of Cups card, but this is victory, so this is positive. Doesn't necessarily indicate that there's a specific thing that needs to be healed. This is overcoming a situation or an emotional, I want to use the word controversy in the past that gets resolved. This might be that courageous conversation we've been talking about now for almost a week, that there is something that needs to be said, and it's finally like today is the day, especially with the moon squaring Pluto, the moon being our emotions, Pluto being kind of that underneath, something that might have been buried or is latent that hasn't been addressed for a while. This is maybe that day that we address it. Either we verbalize and have a conversation, which might be contentious, but yet we're able to express our beliefs in a way that we feel that we stood up for our feelings, we set boundaries, but most of all, we were able to articulate clearly what it is that's been bothering us. Okay? Perfect. All right, we'll pull a mindfulness card. Let's get into some tarot. I'm going to pull 5 cards. We'll find out what a situation could be for somebody and if there's specific advice. But remember, you are your own reason to smile. So you don't have to be validated by someone else. You don't need someone else's validation. All right, let's see. Ooh, 5 of Pentacles. Somebody got, froze out. Somebody kind of got left out in the cold. This card generally means that. 5s are changes or challenges. Okay, then we have the 2 of Pentacles, struggling and juggling. Somebody has been struggling with this. We've been seeing the 2 of Pentacles a lot, which means, oh my, here we go. Here's the Devil. This has really had you chained to this experience. It was an experience that has left you kind of stuck. There's definitely a feeling of not being resolved here, that this has been such a challenging situation that either you just walked away from it or oh my, look at that 8 of Swords. I mean, this is obvious. This has been a lingering situation. You're going to be victorious over the situation. So remember, timing is fluid. So this is something that has been lingering in your energy, and it's like a negative weight. I'm feeling this weighing down energy. I'm literally seeing a weight, like a lead weight that you use for fishing, but it's square shaped. It's not round, but it's like square shaped, and it's just sinking, but it's not so heavy that you sink to the bottom, but you sink and stall. And I really feel like that's kind of the message here. This, whatever the situation was, you sank and it stalled, and then there's been no movement. But here's a card of being trapped. Here's the Devil card, which is kind of that toxic relationship energy. Like, it's something went wrong and somebody just walked away from it. They've been struggling and juggling whether or not to try and resolve this. It's almost like everybody went to their own corners and just stayed there and got stuck there. So there's been no movement in this experience, and that's frustrating. There is the Queen of Pentacles. Now, Queen of Pentacles to me is somebody who definitely self-nurtures, very grounded. Um, but there's also something about this card that is, somebody's become very materialistic. Maybe you just, everybody just went on with life, but there's something here about someone's energy that either is, this could have been an issue about money. Maybe somebody borrowed some money and then they didn't pay it back, and that kind of was just like, okay, well, can't be friends now. I don't know. I'm going to pull a couple of cards. There's something not happy about this card. There's a practicality. Okay, we have the Four Swords. There's that stillness moment that we need. Maybe that's how we need to connect. Be very grounded, very practical in the approach here. Don't be emotional. Look, we don't have any cups. So this is more like, don't emotionally negotiate. Now here we have the King of Swords. This is indecision. Somebody's struggling with the decision. Well, here we have the King of Swords. Here is very decisive. And with this Queen of Pentacles, because I'm really kind of clarifying this Queen of Pentacles, with the Four Swords, if you find yourself getting emotional, step back and start, come at this very logically. There's a logical compromise. This is what my guides are saying. This situation can be resolved through logical compromise, not emotional. It maybe make this more of a practical, how best can we solve this without, inflating or irritating the emotions. Okay, so if we go back to the analogy of somebody borrowed money, and then they come back to you and they start getting really upset saying, but you're holding me accountable. You mean our friendship has a value to you, a monetary value? And then you just simply say, no, I'm interpreting it as a lack of respect. And then this person says, well, I ran into this situation and I wasn't able to pay back. And instead of talking about it, they just ghosted you. And instead of coming to you and saying, look, is there some way we can work this out? Is there something that I can trade? Can I barter something for you? Can I do something to work it off? They just ghosted you. And you considered that a sign of disrespect. So you just kind of, went on and didn't look back. But it's been bothering you because it was unresolved. Now this person's back and saying, I just want to explain why I didn't pay you back. And they have a reasonable explanation. It's reasonable. And so a part of you just wants to say, okay, well, still, you didn't pay me back, so I can't be friends with you. Instead of saying, hey, you know what? Maybe we can work this out another way. You actually have a gift that I could really use your help. So maybe you could help me out, and then we can equalize the debt that way. You see what I'm saying? Don't make it about money. Make it about how can I work this out? But you can still set boundaries. I mean, if this person's going to take advantage of you, set the boundaries. But if they're willing to try and resolve this, and your issue is this is about money, and if you don't pay me back, then we're done. Maybe look at it from a different perspective. Go into your stillness. And, maybe ask your guides for a decision. This is divine helpers. You may want to go ahead and call on those. But there is a way to resolve this. This is definitely a victory. Look at there's the Sun card. There's definitely a victory here for both of you. But you are going to have to talk through it and find a solution. The solution is the victory. And being willing to find an out-of-the-box solution is the way you're going to feel good about yourself. That's going to bring that smile, because you're going to say, but your belief systems are right for you. And it's not like I'm asking you to say, just forget about the money. You can say, if you can't afford to pay me back, is there some other way? Okay? Because they obviously, but it doesn't have to be about money. It could be about something else. But I just want you to know that there is a solution to this. You're just going to have to find it, and you're both going to feel good about it, and you're going to feel elevated. I'm seeing the image of just being so satisfied with yourself. It's almost like, wow, I've grown because I've handled this differently. It's interesting. All right, let's get a mindfulness card, and then I am going to, okay, here's some gratitude. Gratitude doesn't change the scenery. It merely washes clean the glass you look through so you can clearly see the colors. All right, I am going to pull off the singing bowl here, and let's just go ahead and do a little sound healing. Let's just send out an intention that we want this situation to be resolved in a positive way so everybody's happy, and that we find an outside the box solution to be victorious. Oops. I hope this helps heal your situation today. Please let me know in the comments if this was helpful to you. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Until then, my beautiful friends, namaste.